In this video we're going to talk about how you can set the default value for a field in a new record equal to the value that was entered in the previously entered new record. So you can see here we have a grid that is being configured in a form view, and we've gone to properties and we've set add records only to true. Then we've gone to update settings and we've set the number of new record rows is equal to 1. And then for the company field you can see that we've got a default value of alpha. Now this initial value fires when the grid is initially rendered, so now it says alpha over here, but if I were to go now and enter a new record, this value would apply to all new records. So you can't use the initial value here to basically say make the initial value whatever I entered in the previous record. In addition, you also can't use the on initial value calculate event, because that event also only fires the first time that this grid is rendered. It's not going to fire every time the grid is rendered. That's unlike new records in the detail view where the on initial value event does fire each time a new record is added to a detail view. But in this case we're not using a detail view, we're just using the grid part. So the question then remains is, how do you basically get this behavior that I can show over here? So let's go here and just type in, say, John Smith, and we'll type in, say, Google as his company, and then hit the submit button, and that adds the record. And now we go on to the next new record, and you can see the default value for company is now Google. And I'll go here and I'll type in, say, Eric Smith, and I'll type in Microsoft and then submit, and now you can see the default value is Microsoft. So the default value is always equal to the value that was entered in that field in the previous record. So here's how we did that. The first thing that you'll see is we went to server-side events, and in the after insert record we took the value that was submitted. So this is the value that the user typed in and then submitted, and we're creating an xbasic dot variable called AR over here, and we're saying AR has a property called default value underbar company. We're converting AR into a JSON object by using the xbasic function called var to JSON, and then we're calling the grid objects method called setStateInfo, and we're passing in the JSON object that we created over here, and then we're sending that JavaScript back to the client in the after insert record event. So what's happening now is we're storing in the grid object, inside the grid object's state info property, the value of the company field that was just submitted. So now this value is now stored in the grid object in the browser and is available for us to use at a later point in time. So next we're going to go to client-side events, and there's a client-side event called the after row populate event. So after you hit the save button to save the row, a new record is created and it is populated with default values that are currently stored in the browser, and we now need to override whatever default value was put into the new record with the value that we stored in the state info object. So you can see that our JavaScript code over here gets the value from the state info object of default value underbar company, then gets a pointer to the element that represents the company field, and then sets the company field to that value. So that's how we basically set the new field equal to the value entered in the previous record. Thanks very much.